Hello agents and welcome back to another Division video. Today this is going to be a build video, the first one of the decade, and we are going to go over my tip of the spear build. I've been asked about this loads recently, and the main reason behind that is that they fixed opportunistic. Opportunistic used to be able to stack. You could essentially put 7 other people in the raid with opportunistic gloves on and have one person, say, snipe and do mega damage to anything in the raid. Now you can't do that. It only works once and then reapplies every time it triggers. So all the other builds now have become much more important, which as they should be. So this is the build, guys. There's quite a lot to this, but I'm going to go through it in as much detail as possible. Hopefully answer any questions that you might have. First of all, the specialization, we're running the crossbow, and this is a must because the gear set doesn't work without the crossbow. But there's also a few vital things that if we have a look in the tree, the skill tree, they're very useful. So while in cover, you'll gain 20% skill haste, extremely useful. Group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with a status effect, again, awesome. And with this one, guys, that's 10% multiplicative damage as well. So having the flame turret and using fire grenades during certain parts of the raid is very, very important. 15% increased protection from elites, very, very good because we're a little bit squishy on this build to achieve what we need to achieve. Armor kits help people within 10 meters, again, super, super useful. And that's about it. I've got everything else maxed out, which I think pretty much most people have by now. But because also at the end when we're doing Razorback, we've got a crossbow, we can hit the grate, we can open it up super, super quick for the rest of the team. Also very important. Flip back to the build. The guns that I'll be using is the SVD. Lucky shot I think is pretty much a must nowadays for the extra magazine damage, and plus as well if you're spamming, if you do miss a bullet you get it straight back and you get a 100% chance of getting that straight back now since TU6.1. We've got 20% extra magazine capacity to bump that up even more. And stop, drop and roll, this can be anything you want, any preference. The only thing I would say you would definitely should get in this build is in rhythm. Anything else is perfect as your own preference. As you can see from the pistol, this is where I'm running in rhythm. The other stats don't really matter. And as my secondary, I decided to go with my Eagle Bearer. Multiple reasons why I went with the Eagle Bearer. One, it's just great damage all round. And you get the extra protection from the armour with protected fire. So while holstered, gain 10% bonus armour while firing. Just to make us a little bit more tanky, a bit more survivability with this build. As you can see, the health is only 27.1k, but the armor's almost 200k, which in the raid nowadays easily survivable. Shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. So we'll go with the mask. First thing is the Healer Guard mask, and it's the Night Watcher one because we want the perfect spotter. This is all about pulse, this build, so you definitely need pulse. Perfect spotter giving 20% instead of 15%, so get yourselves one of these guys. Skill haste for the secondary talent, get this as high as you possibly can. This is going to literally be what you're looking for on your Night Watcher mask, as high skill haste as possible, and then that way then you can roll as high damage to elites as you've got available to you onto it. Utility mode, and this is literally just giving me skill power to get to the over 3000 mark that I need, 173, which is quite decent for a mod. We'll go with the gloves next before we start with the gear set. These are going to be the Motherly Love gloves, and because it's the one piece bonus, it gives us an extra 20% skill haste, maximum marksman rifle damage on here as well, and with the talent perfectly opportunistic I should say. It's red because it's showing my pistol equipped, so don't worry about that. Enemies you hit take 15% more damage from all sources, requires marksman or shotgun weapons only, so it works fine with my SVD. And it gives everybody else an extra 15% more damage. Mod slot, I've just gone with marksman rifle damage, which also gives me an extra 5%. Put what you feel is important in there for yourself. Very, very quickly flip back over to this. Did I go over the... Yeah, I went over the utility slot. Brilliant. Okay, so we'll go over to the tip of the spear set now. We'll start with the chest piece. And that gives 20% protection from elites for the 2-part. And this is where it starts to get interesting now when we get to the 3-part. Crossbow bolts are equipped with proximity detonators. On impact, the bolt triggers a 9mm pulse. So super good. Especially because in the raid we're not always going to be running pulse, especially on Razorback. So we need to be able to apply pulse without running it. So got to think about that. Requires the survivalist specialization, of course. And then we've got the 4-piece. So when killing an enemy, trigger a small pulse from their location. Party raid members deal 20% extra damage to pulsed targets. So hand in hand, and the extra 20% damage is where it's at. I'm going to show some small clips at the end of this video. Some of them will be one phasing boomer, and the other one will be how you use this in Razorback. It's not actually me doing it. I'm very, very new to tips, so I got one of my other team members who runs it on the regular to run it. Thank you very much, Genums, for that. And he'll just show you where you've got to throw your hive, and him destroying the grate very quickly for the other team members, and then where he has to move to destroy all of the drones that come out of Razorback so that everybody else can focus on their other builds. The other builds being aces and eights in the raid, and also the attack 50 builds, so you'll be able to one phase Razorback. We'll move on to the holster. Obviously these are the same, but I've got a huge chunk of skill power on here, 740 with 26% skill haste. By all means, guys, do not worry too much about where the yellows are. Just as long as you achieve 3000 skill power and then put as much skill haste into the build as possible. So your biggest chunk of skill power is always going to come from the chest piece. This could be higher, this could be 900, this could be way higher. You can get a huge chunk of it here as well on your holster. I'll just go over the mods before we move on quickly. So I've got some marksman rifle damage here, some reload speed and skill power. This is just to make things a little bit easier for myself. Then we'll move on to the backpack. This is another place where you can get super high skill power, and then I've got some skill haste as well. I've got some weapon damage in. Pretty good roll this one actually, got pretty lucky with this. But just think about that, yeah, what you've got to think about is basically achieving 3000 skill power with as much added skill haste as possible. Pretty much like if you were doing a skill build. I have got damage to elites. I've got the talent on this is hard hitting. And then the mod slot, as you can see, I've got some more marksman rifle damage, some rifle damage, and then I've got some skill power for my skills. So the pulse one here, I've got 68 and 114 skill power on the mod slot. My mods could be much better. In fact, to be honest, if my mods were better, I probably could have done skill haste here and made that up to like 45 or 46% rather than skill power. So, it depends how lucky you've got with your drops and how lucky you've got with your mods. Just to quickly go over the talent on the chest piece, I don't think I covered it. I've got capacitive, which is an extra 50% skill duration. Then we'll move on to the knee pads, which complete the set. I've got 21% skill haste. This can be better actually, and I'm going to roll this to slightly better. It's got an offensive mod slot where again I've got marksman rifle and weapon damage. And then I've got some hive skill power and some regular skill power, which takes me over the 3000 requirement. This is set up right now as if I was doing boomer. So if we look at this, this is the jammer pulse, which is needed to take down the drone. So it's a two-part process we're taking down the drones. You throw the hive into Razorback himself, and the video will show that at the end. And as he opens up and the drones come out, the hive takes care of all of these drones for you for both sides. Sometimes they do get away a little bit, and depending on how good your damage is, and they might get, you know, 5-10% life left, but that makes it super easy for anyone on a DPS build just to, you know, one shot them pretty quickly and get rid of them. It makes life for DPS way easier. And then we've got the pulse, which is the jammer pulse, which then will destroy the second wave of drones that comes out of Razorback. They come out in a timed instance. So we'll go over the jammer pulse first of all. Basically, you just want this to work as quickly as possible. I've got an almost perfect mod in here, a 198% skill haste mod, 198%, and a one not quite as good, it's only 137, but obviously the minute I can get another one of these, I will throw that in there. The cooldown's only 16.7 seconds anyway, which is really good, but yeah, just get as much skill haste in there as you possibly can. We've now got here for the damage for the Stinger Hive. So I've got 85%, obviously it could be close to 100, but still pretty good. And then we've got an almost perfect mod here, 99.9% charges and 82.4% charges. The more charges the better. You've got a lot of drones to take care of, so get as many charges in it as you possibly can and as much damage in it as you possibly can. And as long as you stand in the right place on Razorback, the range of your jammer pulse shouldn't be a problem, but again the video will show that at the end. And that's pretty much it, guys. Obviously, what you've got to think about is during the rest of the fights, you can flip this over to the regular pulse, and again, these can stay the same. So, you know, getting the pulse up and making sure pulse is up as much as possible is what's important with this build. And obviously, if you're speed running, you can flip this over to the booster hive and put some stim efficiency on it as well, and therefore you can run through the raid a little bit quicker and help your team. So you could essentially have different loadouts set for different points of the raid. That's about it, guys. I'll include the clips, like I said, at the end, and you can watch us one phase Boomer, and also I'll show the clip of Genham's where he's throwing the hive and pulsing the drones, so you know exactly where to do and you can get the timing down. Any questions, guys, throw them below. If I've missed anything, and I probably have, throw them questions below as well. Or if you want, you can catch me almost every day streaming over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. We'll be running these builds on the nightly. We do some hardcore, we do some raids, we help the community out. If you need a raid and you're on PC and you want to come and experience these builds or help check them out, just come and give us a shout over there and you can join us by all means. The Discord link's below as well, hop in there. If you like the content, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel, giving us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or hitting that bell notification so that you get future notifications for when I upload more videos, which I try to do as regular as possible. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will leave you with the clips, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.